Hi, guys. I'm Coach Mimi here in the Good Guy Corner. Today, I want to talk about discouragement because I see this a lot with good guys who are just trying to live good lives, yet they don't have the outcomes that they have been hoping for, and they're discouraged about it. Discouragement usually shows up as a heavy, burdened feeling where it seems like everything you try just doesn't work, right? Like you're moving along, but you're dragging this heavy baggage and just makes all the progress seem slow and hard. So I want you to think about an area of your life that feels discouraging. And we're going to break it down into what I call the discouragement formula. These three things that always happen first, and then we feel discouraged. So I want to use Chris as an example here. All right. Chris decided he was finally going to get his garage in shape. He was so tired of not being able to find the tools and the things that he needed when he wanted them, right? So he set aside time on Saturday. He had a plan in mind of how it was going to go. He told his family ahead of time so that he knew he had several hours before they expected anything of him. And he bought the supplies ahead, the shelves, the organizing things, the boxes and bags, and all the stuff that he would needed that he needed for it. And then it was Saturday and he was doing it, right? Progress was happening. He was putting the things in place, he was getting rid of stuff. It was going to be so awesome to have everything organized right when where he could find it. And then, as often is the case, he ran out of time to finish his project. It was then time for his daughter's soccer game and then other family responsibilities. And one thing led to the next. And soon it had been 6 weeks since he had worked on his garage and it still wasn't finished. So Chris was left feeling discouraged about it. And also, while he was discouraged about that, he was finding other evidence of times when, all the other times when he had started something and not finished it. And he was really believing that he just never finishes anything. He can never have the time that he needs for himself to accomplish what he wants. So think about a similar example in your life, right? Maybe it's something about your house, like getting those rooms painted or fixing that fence. Or maybe it's a business idea that you've had, but you just can't get traction on it. Or it might be something about getting in better shape physically, right? So as humans, we have endless opportunities to get discouraged about the things that we haven't completed. But here's what I want to show you, these three things that always happen before we get discouraged. The first one is you had an idea, something that was going to improve your life, right? Second, you made some effort toward it. And number three, you judged the results. So I'm going to break down each one of those three parts to look a little closer at it. All right. So, number one, you had an idea, something that was going to improve your life, something good, right? Something that was going to make things better for you. For Chris, it was organizing his garage. What was your idea before you got discouraged? What was that for you? Why did it matter to you? What were the reasons why you wanted that? Now, number two, you made some effort, right? So in this case with Chris, he set aside the time, he bought what was needed, he got started, he made plans, he told his family. What did you do with your idea? What was the effort that you made? How long did you try? What was it that stopped you? Those can be some valuable questions to look at. And then number three, you judged the results. So, what did you expect would happen that didn't? And what are you thinking about it now that has led to being discouraged, right? Some common things that I see a lot are it shouldn't have taken so long. I should be done by now. I don't ever finish what I start. I don't ever have time to do the things that I want to do. Right? So those are some of the judgment things that we make on about the results. So that's the discouragement formula. Those three things equal discouragement. They add up together and they equal discouragement. When you have an idea and you make some effort and then you judge the results, you end up discouraged. So now that we're clear about this, a little more clear about how we feel discouraged in the first place, if you don't want to feel discouraged, here's what to do next. Number one, get factual. What are the facts about the results? What are the facts about how long you spent in order to get the results? What are the facts about the steps that you took? Right? Really pull out the facts and then get curious. That's number two. Number two is get curious. Ask yourself some valuable questions rather than just going straight to judgment. So some of those questions could be, what makes sense about the results being exactly as they are? Right? So going back to Chris's example, it makes sense that the result is the garage is not finished yet. He ran out of time, right? And then also looking back at it, he can assess that he had values for stopping what he was doing, going to his daughter's soccer game, right? And then the other responsibilities that he had. So lots of times when we slow this down and we get curious about, okay, why are the results the way they are? Before we just add judgment to it, but we, first of all, get factual about the results and get curious about why are they like this currently, we get a lot more clarity. And we probably see that, oh, those things that I did instead, I actually had reasons to do those things. Now, it might be that we find out the reason why we didn't. We don't actually like those reasons, right? That we were avoiding the discomfort of finishing the task, or, we'll uncover lots of different things. So that can be a valuable awareness, right? So asking yourself, what makes sense about the results being exactly as they are? That can be very beneficial. And then also asking yourself, what if nothing has gone wrong here? Okay. So those are some questions to ask yourself with that step 2 of getting curious. And then step 3 would be remember. Remember, what was that idea that you had in the first place? Why did you want that? Does it still matter for you? And if it does matter, well, what's in your power to get it done now? Right? If it's still something that matters to you, you can still create that. And so, step 4 is decide what you're going to do now. If you weren't dragging that heavy baggage of judgment, right? If you could let the judgment go, and then here you are, if this is something that still matters to you, well, what do you want to do about getting those results that you want? So again, now the whole key here is judgment, right? It's this heavy baggage that we just carry and drag on with us that makes everything harder. But the good news is that judgment is optional. You can let go of it. You can let go of that baggage. And so ask yourself, what is in the way of letting go of the judgment and getting back to that great idea that you had that was going to be beneficial for your life, right? It is totally in your power. So that is what I have for you today, that discouragement formula that gives you clarity about why you're discouraged in the first place, and then those 4 steps to get out of it, to get factual, get curious, remember why did you want it in the first place, and then decide what are you going to do about it now. It is totally in your power if you still want it. All right, I'm Coach Mimi, and I'll be here next time in the Good Guy Corner.